Bernard Jenkin, welcome. Good to have you with us. Thanks for
Thank you, John.
Time. Let me ask you first of all then. I mean, we see then Kemi Badenoch, who is expelling Gavin Barwell from the Tory group in the House of Lords. It's kicking him out. What are your thoughts on that? I presume you know Gavin Barwell.
Well, yes, and I would count him as a friend, and I worked closely with him both when he was the senior agent in Central Office and when he was working for Theresa May as her Chief of Staff. And in fact, I confess, I was probably not the only one who suggested him to jump into the breach after the 2017 election as a suitable and experienced person.
Right.
So I rate him. I think he's an honourable and decent person. But the problem we've got here is that he has tended to take his own very strong line against many of Kemi's policies. And Kemi is at the moment enjoying an extraordinary period of unity in the Conservative Party, partly because she has taken a decisive view about what our policies should be and what needs to change and what we need to learn from the past. And when he came back from his leave of absence in the House with some very strongly expressed views about where Kemi was going wrong, and very publicly, he was asked to have a meeting with the Chief Whip in the House of Lords.
Yes.
Apparently, I understand he refused that. And I don't think the rest of the Conservative Party is sorry that she has taken this decisive but sad decision.
Okay, I mean, you then sum up what you consider to be the views of many other Conservatives, and you give us, I think correctly, set out the facts leading up to all of this, but you haven't told me, quite given me an answer to this. I mean, you know Gavin Barwell, you're a friend of Gavin Barwell, you've been a mentor to Gavin Barwell, you admire his...
I'm not sure I've been a mentor, but anyway, carry on.
Well, something of a mentor. You advised him to take the job, so you've got some responsibility.
I suggested his name to Theresa May.
You suggested him for the job. So do you personally support and approve of kicking him out of the party over some of his views?
Well, he's had the Conservative whip removed in the House of Lords. I certainly approve of that decision, because one of the things that Kemi has achieved is a degree of unity in the Conservative Party in Parliament that I've never seen before, not in my 34 years as a Member of Parliament. And disunited parties don't get elected. And I'm afraid I gather the big issue is net zero. We signed up to a net zero by 2050. And lots of us supported that, but it has proved to be very impractical. In the present circumstances, we found that since Putin started using gas as a weapon and fossil fuel prices have rocketed, and our renewables policy has turned out to be much more expensive than anticipated, we should be, for example, opening up the North Sea for drilling of oil and gas to improve our balance of payments, to create jobs, to create more tax revenue, so that we can deal with some of these problems and to improve our energy security. You know, if Norway's drilling in the North Sea and we're piping gas in from Norway, why aren't we drilling it ourselves? I mean, the whole thing is bonkers. And that is the consensus view. But my understanding is that Gavin wants to carry on speaking out against that policy.
Well, it's about
this is a very big shift in policy.
Yes.
Like the shift on the European Convention on Human Rights, for example, and there will be others, where Kemi is determined that we present a united front to the country, and that is what we are doing, and I commend her for that.
That is clearly Kemi Badenoch's view when it comes to maintaining a clear, strong, united line on the Convention on Human Rights, on net zero, and other things too. What do you feel about what you may have seen already in Conservative Home, where Oliver Dean, who's obviously well informed as Conservative Home is, tells us that this is just the beginning in Kemi Badenoch's planning of a purge of some of those on that liberal, more centrist wing of the party. A purge. How do you feel about that idea?
Liberal or centrist wing, I think that's inaccurate. I mean, she also purged, if you like to use that word, Rob Jenrick before he had the chance to jump ship, because, as she said it, we need a party where we tell each other the truth and can trust each other.
Yeah.
I think she's leading from the front by example, and I hope that others who may have different views from Kemi will recognise that we've got to present a united front, and this kind of action is not a comprehensive purge, but I respect her right to do this because I think she's on the right side of history, and she's absolutely right to put the interests of the party and the country first, rather than trying to accommodate people who want to disrupt.
Okay, in the case of Robert Jenrick, he was kicked out because he was clearly planning to defect to Reform UK, and in those circumstances, and she was obviously right about that, an expulsion would be the natural course. In this case, in the case of Gavin Barwell and conceivably others, we see in Conservative Home that the leader of your party is looking at people like the members of the group that includes Andy Street and includes David Gauke and includes Ruth Davidson, that they are lined up for expulsion because, well, in the view of one source to Conservative Home, they might as well be in the Liberal Democrats. So that is, well, they use the word purge, not me, but the purge seems to be not an unreasonable term. Do you feel strongly in support of that or not?
I very much hope that won't be necessary. I hope everyone in the Conservative Party will read the writing on the wall, that Kemi's leadership is decisive and she will take decisive action, and that people want to cooperate and support her leadership rather than seek to undermine it. I mean, Gavin was involved with that whole episode of what was, I think, called Prosper UK.
Correct.
Which was got absolutely zero support in the Conservative Parliamentary Party. And people, Cameroon type, were saying and David Cameron himself was saying he wanted nothing to do with it because the last thing that Kemi needed was that kind of factional opening up of issues to try and undermine what Kemi was seeking to do. Now, they'll of course deny that, but I remember asking one of them, well, why haven't you got, if you want to have better relations with business, if that's your objective, why haven't you got John Redwood and Peter Lilly and Norman Lamont and other successful ministers involved in this? And none of them were involved or even asked to be involved because that wasn't what it was really about.
And so Bernard, tell me, Bernard, because I'm being told I'm running out of time, you would be content with the idea of expelling those Prosper UK members. We're talking about people like Ruth Davidson and people like Andy Street. We're talking about lifelong Conservatives. Does that not cause you any pause?
I think, of course, it causes me pause, and I'm sure it causes Kemi pause. And each of them, as indeed Gavin, will be a loss. In their own way, they are a loss. But the greater good of the party and the country overrides those considerations. And I think Kemi's courage and decisiveness is what the party and the country will admire.
All right, good to talk to you, Bernard. Thank you so much.
Thank you.